Tesla Cybertruck buzz gets louder. Rivian jumps on next bandwagon, but Lucid holds off? Nikola's fire mishap and more. Biggest EV stories of the week. Short sellers are betting big against these 5 tech stocks. Here's how much a $1,000 investment in Tesla stock will be worth in 2030. We're going to talk about all that and more. So let's get started. On Friday, Tesla closed at $256.60 per share. As you can see on the screen right now, not doing much better after hours. But if you've been following the stock for a while, you know Tesla is a fickle beast. There is no taming this mare, you're just gonna have to let her run wild. For the year, Tesla's still up over 6.5%, and year to date, still up a whopping 137% since the new year. Half the year is gone, folks. What do you think Tesla's gonna do from here? You think it's gonna revert back to record lows or soar back to record highs? Tesla's market cap currently sits at $813.14 billion with a price to earnings ratio at 75/50. Now, some may say that the PE is way too high, way overbought. And I would agree with you if Tesla wasn't going to be earning billions of dollars more than what they're currently making right now. But I get it. It's hard to fathom an upstart company like Tesla overthrowing some of these legacy automotive giants. But newsflash, that has happened. With each passing day, the transition from internal combustion engine to battery electric vehicle not only grows, but grows exponentially. The writing is on the wall. I think Ford sees it. GM probably sees it. Anyone moving at breakneck speed to make this transition, they understand that Tesla is the leader in battery electric vehicles, and in 5 or 6 years, that's the only metric that'll count when you're talking about new car sales. Then it becomes a matter of who's going to be able to produce enough quality electric vehicles affordably. And I only know one company that's doing it with industry-leading margins. But it's easy. Everybody's going to be able to do it. Don't worry. Everybody's going to make this transition. Everything will be fine. The average trading volume for Tesla just keeps growing. 52-week high, $314.67, while the 52-week low is $101.81. The chasm is real. Look no further to the volatility of Tesla stock within 1 year. Wall Street analysts are underestimating the immense pressure that Tesla stock is under. There's a pressure cooker of short sellers depressing the value of the stock, but they won't be able to do it forever. In fact, any sign of weakness, be prepared to watch it explode. Tesla Cybertruck buzz gets louder. Rivian jumps on next bandwagon, but Lucid holds off? Nikola's fire mishap and more. Biggest EV stories of the week. Key points: Tesla is creating all the right noise as it aims to expand its global footprint and lineup. Lucid choose to stay out of the NACS partnership with Tesla. When egos bruise, it just doesn't recover. Electric vehicle stocks moved down in the week ending on June 23rd as the broader market weakness dragged these stocks lower. We enter a lean week before second quarter deliveries kick in. Stocks could be on hold mode for a while. Speak for yourself. Here are the key events that happened in the EV space during the week. Tesla Cybertruck sightings and more. Fans of Tesla continue to share sightings of the Cybertruck and news about the company's much-awaited vehicle lineup. A screenshot of a patent filing that was published this week showed that the Cybertruck's tailgate can be opened via a smartphone or key fob. A new video leaked by a Twitter user showed a frame of the Cybertruck going through a body and white line. The sightings, along with the news shared on social media, suggest that the much-loved but long-delayed vehicle could roll out by the end of the third quarter. Tesla techno king Elon Musk also met with the Indian Prime Minister during the latter's visit to the US. Following the meeting, Musk said Tesla hopes to invest in India as soon as humanly possible. The billionaire entrepreneur also said he tentatively plans to visit India in 2024. The news is important, as Tesla and the Indian government have been at odds over conditions that the company must meet in order to set up shop in the country. 2 Tesla analysts additionally shed their bullish stances this week. Bullshit. Based on the valuation of the stock following its recent run-up. Correction. Both of these analysts still have long-term bullish outlooks for Tesla the company. They're just having a hard time believing the rate at which Tesla is climbing the charts. Furthermore, a Cars.com survey named Tesla's Model Y, Model 3, Model S, and Model X as the top 4 American-made vehicles for 2023. America. Rivian, not left behind. Following in the footsteps of legacy automakers General Motors and Ford, Rivian announced a charging partnership with Tesla. The California-based company decided to warm up to the Musk-led company's North American charging standard, even as fellow EV startup Lucid opted to stay out. Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson suggested in a video that the charging connector did not matter, and what mattered instead was high-speed charging, which would further electrification in the country. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Lucid can kind of afford to make this statement because they're not mass producing anything. At this stage of the game, Lucid can afford to make these claims. But as Rivian is trying to increase their production as fast as they possibly can, with the expectations of producing 50,000 vehicles this year, they need to make sure that everyone that purchased their vehicles has a place to charge it outside of their home. Lucid isn't burdened with this. Nikola EV trucks impacted in fire. Struggling EV truck maker Nikola suffered another setback as fire outside its Phoenix headquarters affected some of the battery EV trucks. The company confirmed the fire through a tweet and said foul play was suspected as a vehicle was seen in the area of affected trucks just ahead of the incident. Poor Nikola, they can't catch a break. This company's probably going to go bankrupt before the end of the decade. Hell, this is just further example of when it rains, it pours. Ford gets $9.2 billion Department of Energy funding. Ford will use a conditional loan of $9.2 billion from the U.S. Department of Energy to construct 3 EV battery plants in conjunction with the auto manufacturer's South Korea partner SK On. This is a fine example of why Ford and GM are probably going to survive. I don't think the US government will let them fail. They're going to do everything in their power to have these two titans of American industry survive this transition. So as a taxpayer of this great country, please, Ford, get your there. GM, get your together. Fisker begins U.S. deliveries. Close on the heels of beginning its deliveries in Europe, Fisker commenced deliveries of 22 vehicles to customers from its facility in the Los Angeles area. Additional deliveries will continue through the summer. As I stated before, anybody that makes anywhere decent battery electric vehicles, they will be able to sell them. Question is, how much money are you making on each one sold, and how fast can you produce them? Even though Fisker doesn't have a partnership with Tesla when you're talking about the NACS and the superior Tesla supercharging network, by the time Fisker gets in full bore in the United States, many of those Tesla supercharging stations, probably starting with the 12,000 that was bestowed to Ford, GM, Rivian, those 12,000 that they got to add to their networks, probably starting the magic dock on those chargers. And Fisker customers will be able, as long as they download the Tesla app, to use the greatest supercharging network on the planet. Lordstown founder cashes out. Steve Burns, the founder of Lordstown Motors, has dumped his entire stake in the company. The executive sold 581,000 shares on May 23rd, another 200,000 on May 24th, and the last 591,752 on June 16th. The move comes as the company is locked in a battle with its manufacturing partner and is on the brink of going bust. Don't really want to make it tough. I just want to tell you that I had enough. It might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye. And that will be the last nail in the coffin for Lordstown Motors. Faraday Future delays deliveries. Shares of Faraday Future Intelligent Electric plummeted this week after the company announced a delay in deliveries of its FF91 EV. The company also floated a plan to raise capital and a proposal to reverse split its shares. The health of some of these EV companies is not good. Lucid hitting a new 52-week low just goes to show you that there is no guarantees when you're talking about battery electric vehicles. It's not as easy as Tesla makes it out to be. Now, I'm not going to short any of these EV companies because that's not how I want to make my money. But there are those individuals out there that have no qualms with betting on the failure of a company. Short sellers are betting big against these 5 tech stocks. This week, short interest among US investors has reached impressive levels. Even as regulators consider a ban on short selling, investors aren't shying away from betting against a wide variety of stocks. Many of the market's most shorted companies right now fall into the category of unstable meme stocks such as Carvana and Beyond Meat. However, it isn't only the unstable companies with a significant retail investor following that are garnering a high short interest. In fact, some very prominent tech stocks are being heavily shorted despite the indicators of the US economy is entering a new bull market. Now, I imagine many short sellers are thinking this epic run-up for the first half of 2023 is a fluke. Many of these individuals still feel that there is a recession right around the corner, and just as fast as these stocks shot up, they will experience a Wile E. Coyote level plummet. What are these leading tech companies? Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Amazon. Any coincidence that all of these companies experienced the Nvidia bump? It would appear we have a lot of non-believers. According to data from market research firm S3 Partners, their collective short interest recently exceeded $83 billion. Does this mean that everyone should be betting against these tech giants? I wouldn't recommend it. Let's take a closer look. Surging short interest among tech stocks. When it comes to stocks to short, these tech stocks likely aren't the first names that come to mind. After all, they have all experienced impressive years marked by notable growth. The artificial intelligence boom has created ample opportunity for all five to grow even more. In fact, it took Nvidia to a $1 trillion market cap and has Apple poised to reach $3 trillion. On the surface, the macroeconomic outlook may look pretty right now. However, this doesn't mean there isn't still plenty of risk. Goldman Sachs recently warned investors to consider downside protection as due to the continuous threat of a recession. Were that scenario to play out, it could cancel out the growth that the S&P 500 index has seen recently, a significant part of what has fueled the recent tech stocks rally. It is also worth noting that short sellers will likely always target a company like Tesla. Despite its dominance in the electric vehicle market, Elon Musk's questionable leadership has raised many red flags. Questionable to who? Now, I get it. Elon's not a typical cookie cutter CEO. Dare I say, the world's richest man is more relatable than the rest of the Fortune 500 CEOs combined. And it's his presence on Twitter, I think, that really aids to it. He is human. Despite all he's done for humanity, he has made mistakes, and he'll be the first one to acknowledge those mistakes. He is uncharacteristically relatable and shrouded in mystique. Now, I don't know about you guys, but me, if I was the world's richest man, your boy would be on a private island surrounded by all of his loved ones and white sand beaches, drinking Mai Tai and fresh Japanese seafood dishes. That's just me. I don't think my main goal would be to better humanity, which is kind of sad, I guess, but I don't think I'm alone in that boat. Elon Musk is a very different human being because he's willing to work his face off in order to propel humanity into a golden age, one, of sustainable energy, and two, of trying to be a space-faring society. These are both things I want. I don't know how much of my time, energy, and effort I would put into making sure these things work. Kudos to Elon Musk and everybody that's working at every single one of his companies trying to make the world a better place. It's easy for investors to be taken in by the hype during a market rally. That said, the high short interest in leading tech stocks should serve as a reminder that market forces can quickly shift, even in times of optimism. Buy low, sell high. That is the mantra. That's how you make money. I get it. But take a peek at this article and understand why I consider buying Tesla stock to just be a staple, and I never intend to sell it. With these aspirations right here. Here's how much a $1,000 investment in Tesla stock will be worth in 2030 if Ron Barron's price target hits. Key points. Ron Barron began buying shares of Tesla in 2014. Boss. And is one of the largest investors in the company. Barron sees more upside for shares of Tesla and laid out several price targets over the next 3 and 10 years. One of the most outspoken Tesla bulls and investors laid out a price target of shares of the electric vehicle leader at the start of November. The investor echoed those comments again this week during an interview. I mean, somebody that's been invested in the company since 2014, you really can't have a longer time horizon for a stock. Here's what went into the price target and how much the stock could be worth in 7 years if the target is reached. An investor in Tesla since 2014, Ron Barron has been one of the most outspoken Tesla bulls and believes shares will continue to appreciate in the years to come. He's not the only one. Barron issued a fair value estimate that could share similarities with a famous bull case from ARK Invest's Cathie Wood. Barron said in late 2022 that he believes Tesla can hit $500 to $600 per share by the year 2025. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that lines up with what I think too. And the company could be worth $4.5 trillion in the next 8 to 10 years, making it worth more than Apple and Saudi Aramco combined, a claim that Musk made in 2022. But that's not including robots. That's not including autonomous vehicles. That's not including batteries, Barron said at the time. My 12-month fair value estimate, $364 per share. And that does not include robots. That does not include robo-taxis. That doesn't include energy. I wanted to be as conservative as possible when making these fair value estimates. In my base and my bull case, I do entertain what this would look like. And quite frankly, it's nutty. If you want to check those out, please join Patreon. You can get full access to my bull, bear, and base case, along with how I got to those numbers. The fair value estimate came from estimating Tesla to sell around 20 million cars annually in the future, compared to around 1 million sold in 2022. In 2023, if he does 20 million cars per year and they're $50,000 a car, they won't be. That's $1 trillion revenue, and he gets operating profits of somewhere around 30%. This $50,000 per car and around 30% margins, these are on the high side. When I do my evaluation model, I'm definitely a little bit lower. I have the average selling price of vehicles in 2030 to be somewhere around $28,000, and that's probably still way too high. When I'm doing my bear case, I try to put margins somewhere around the 18% realm, base case somewhere around 25, and my bull case, I put it at 30. That's why I recommend you model it out yourself. What do you believe Tesla can do? In your wildest dreams, probably what's most likely. And then if they tank, if they can't do anything that they promise, what is their evaluation if you're like, oh, this is the worst they possibly could do? It's a fun exercise. I recommend you try it. We invested $380 million and we've made about $4 billion so far, and we've cashed in about $1.5 billion, he said. Woo! Everybody ain't able, baby. Barron said he recalls meeting Tesla techno king Elon Musk in 2010 and not investing until 2014. The investors said it was Musk's assertion that until growth was going to be 50% annually along the several visits with the billionaire that got him ready to invest. The stock is now $250. I think it's going to be $500 in 2025, and I think in 2030 it's going to be $1,500. Those are my targets, he said. Barron and his investors own 17.5 million Tesla shares today, including 5 million that are personally owned by Barron. Oh, God, I'm so envious. Barron said he bought his own stake in Tesla after buying for all of his investors. The investor said he will only sell his stake in Tesla after all his clients sell. Now for what you're here for, investing $1,000 in Tesla stock. Investors could benefit along the way if Barron is right about his price predictions. A $1,000 investment in Tesla stock today could buy 3.9 shares based on the closing price of $256.60. Hitting a price target of $500 in 2025 would make the investment worth $1,950. Not bad. This would represent a gain of 95% in 2 years. Hitting a price target of $1,500 in 2030 would make the investment worth $5,850. You go from $1,000 to $5,850. This would represent a gain of 485% in the next 7 years. Not bad. Imagine if you were to put more money in it. Imagine if you had $10,000 invested in Tesla. $50,000? My point is, put what you can in there and give it a go. Now, I always recommend never putting money in there that you will need later. If you're going to need that money in a couple of months, then it's probably not wise for you to invest in stocks. My mentality is, once it goes into the brokerage account, it's gone. I don't intend to pull it out whatsoever whether that be for stocks or options, that money is gone. And I better not need it next week, next month, or even next year. And with a long-term investment horizon, much like Ron Barron, that's where we want to be, people. We want shares in the most valuable company the world will ever see. At least I do. And if you're watching this far deep into the video, I imagine you do too. While all of this is hypothetical, Barron has been one of the big believers in Tesla and is holding onto his shares and placing another bet for the long haul, which could tempt more investors to join him. You're damn right, I'm one of them. I will be putting whatever I can into my brokerage account to try to multiply my Tesla shares. What news headlines will we see that could possibly be a catalyst for Tesla to get back into that 1 trillion market cap club? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Be easy. Peace.